The Golden Throne by me, Ali Reza Najafabadi. When Alexander had risen up and marched on to the east, he was glorified as the Western savior at the least. A son of an ambitious man, he came forward with an ambitious plan. Raise your spears and hold steady your shields. We will drive on forward until our ancient foe will yield. And so was I, who in a much more humble way went west, endeavor in the same way, striving only to achieve what's best. Like Alexander, he didn't conquer only for base pride. No, he only meant to bring his order the same as Cyrus did in glorious stride. The same way that might made right, and victory would light a fire. It could have warmed even the coldness of the world entire. Alexander came to Iran and conquered it true and justly. True, he burned down the libraries after too much wine had been drunk. But let it be known, Alexander's bones were Iranian when they sunk into his grave, dug and planned by his treasonous lot, who were cowards that only rest and greed had sought. Remember, Alexander wed and made queen a woman of our own noble line, and here now starts the claim of how Alexander's throne is mine. I of House Taj, a prince of Iran to my core, I claim the throne from before even the Achaemenid lore, and after to through from the Seleucid, Parthian, Sassanid, and more. I am the rightful king of Iran. I have consummated the Magi's call. I know her Mazda, his being the Father stands tall. Came the Magi of their prophecy of a Savior come. It's not just my faith in which my claim is done. Let me relate to you now. Alexander came into Persian lands, named himself the new emperor, and not just as the son of his father, no. He named himself the Achaemenid successor, and I honor his claim so. For he became our noble king, and I reject the foul calls some of my kin bring, in calling him the accursed one, a scourge from the backwoods Greece. But he was in truth a peer and son to who we call Cyrus the Great. He wed our line and produced his heir, and now you'll say, without a considered care, ha! But murder that child in the cradle before he could be. But consider not the views of the base and savage would see. Can you not see how the dead king's murdered son? Can you not see how the Can you not see how the dead king's murdered son was the right and truthful heir to inherit Alexander's new dawn? Though the boy died, in us his blood flows, in the ways of genetics only God and angels do know. Oh, Alexander, son of Philip and champion of greater Greece, I glorify and accept your creed, and recognize the kin line between us for there is need. No, because Alexander had claimed the throne not as an invader, but as one who came to consummate the promise of Cyrus much later. Alexander may have come to Persia some fashion of Greek, but to deny this coming truth would render you meek. Alexander in part was murdered for this they called a crime. Alexander became a Persian, our Shah, in due time. We accepted the whole of who our king was, and not just stole the glory of his conquest, 'cause, like those in the West who cried victory, in silence sought to rewrite his ending in history. So now I'll illustrate as Alexander chased the sunrise, I chased the sunset. In humble and quiet glory, I went west. Not backed by an army or yet the mark of conquest and glory. Though it may end that way, just wait for the climax of my story. As Alexander came and joined anew, the custom and ways of his conquered people grew to be native and even real in his own heart. And I became an American, a Westerner in my part. No heirs yet born, but my blood flows American, whatever you think. As much as it does Iranian, let that fact sink. I've adopted the ways of my new nation in great haste, and still retain my native pride to no waste. I am the Parthian arrow in Crassus' side. I am the Seleucid hoplite, armored in plate and pride. In equal measure, I am the spear of Alexander, who I acknowledged is my lord and my commander. Yes, I claim the throne of Alexander. I claim the throne of the King of Kings, and know what burden and demands his mandate bring. Not to conquer and brutalize as the Romans did for shallow glory, but always endeavored to write a more humane and civilized story. So Cyrus came to Babylon the way you'll see I'd come here. He had taken Babylon without one bloody thrust of a single spear. And so I had arrived in the West in quiet silence. And hear now my proclamation hence. I am the Persian and Greek emperor, the Hellenistic king, if that can presently make sense. When my plans and efforts come to their fruition, all will see the glory of my peaceful intuition. So it was the Greek king had become our rightful lord and commander. I have come to the West and make my claim, for I am dead all on earth will praise or curse my name. I claim the throne of Cyrus, and consequently of Alexander. Yield to me, and you'll see the 300 was a lie. You need not kneel before me, just stand and try to join me in charging the devil's keep. Into the kingdom of heaven we shall make the leap.